Hebrews, Hebrews, Hebrews. This is Prophets of Awakening. This is our Sunday Advanced Bible Study. Okay, the 8th of December, 2024. We'll be dealing with Josiah, Jehoiakim, and Jehoiachin. Right, these are descendants out of David's lineage, and they were kings in Israel. We're going to break that down, 2 Kings, the reference to that. Okay. So with that being said, you can go to our YouTube channel, The Prophets of Awakening. Check out our videos. We have over 1,000 or so videos that you can look at and check out. And these videos will connect dots for you and lead you to the truth of the Holy Scriptures. And if you like what you're hearing and receiving, I'm asking you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It'll be greatly appreciated. And we have our Cash App at the bottom in case somebody wants to support the channel, help it move along. And people that have, it's greatly appreciated. I want to thank you. Right now, I had the opportunity to. So anyway, for those that don't know, this is a non-Messianic channel, right? We deal with the Tanakh and the Torah. Tanakh being the Old Testament, so-called Book of Remembrance, and the Torah is the 35 books of the Old Testament that was given to Moses by our Redeemer, the Lord of Hosts, which is Deuteronomy, Genesis, Deuteronomy, Numbers. That was all given to Moses by the Lord of Hosts to bring him up to par on everything that happened in Israel or his lineage, from Adam all the way to the nation of Israel becoming coming out of Egypt. So that's what the Torah is all about. Those books, that information was dictated to Moses by the Lord of Hosts on Mount Sinai. Okay. Shalom and welcome to this channel, and welcome to our Sunday Advanced Bible Study. Okay, we're going to do our normal, which is a moment of silence, prayer, songs, and we have some a health moment. We have the current events, and then we'll go to our need to know information, and then we open it up for some dialogue and some Q&A. If anybody have any questions or comments about anything. Okay, and like I said before, our topic in the class is we'll be discussing Josiah, Jehoiakim, and Jehoiakim, all right, and breaking it down, the meaning of that, okay, and then we'll close out, okay. So this moment of silence is for the Lord of Hosts, and all of these doing to bring about our prophesied deliverance for these last days, okay. O Lord, righteousness and uprightness belongeth unto thee. Therefore, we come before thee at this hour, seeking our face and looking for righteousness and uprightness, that we may walk before thee as thy servants David and Solomon, Samuel, and Hezekiah did. For we desire to walk after thee, O Lord, and keep your commandments, your testimony, and your statutes with all our heart and soul, to perform the words of the covenant that was written down by your prophets. O Lord, allow thy face to shine upon thy people. Hear our plea, hear and do, O Lord, and hide not thy face from us any longer, for we need you so very much at this time. Peace be on you. Okay. So with that being said, I'll read a song. Okay. I'm gonna read Psalms. I'll read Psalms 1. Blessed are the righteous. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law doeth he meditate day and night. And he said, and he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. His leaves also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. The ungodly are not so, but are like the chaff which the wind driveth away. Therefore the ungodly shall not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. For the Lord knoweth the way of the righteous, but the way of the ungodly shall perish. Okay, so that was Psalms chapter 1, right? And the part I want to shine a light on was, you notice it says in verse 3, and he shall be like a person that's keep the Most High law. He shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth its fruit in its season, and his leaves also shall not wither, and whosoever doeth, whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. Then it says, the ungodly are not so, but are like the chaff which the wind driveth away. And so you say, well, what are you talking about? Well, the four beasts. We know what happened. All four of those beasts that was given to Daniel are wicked, sinful beasts. So at the very end of that prophecy, he tells them that the saints of the Most High is going to take the kingdom, and they're going to strike the beast at the feet, and it's going to turn into chaff and blow away, like the blow away with the wind. And that's what it's saying right here. It says in verse 4, the ungodly, which is these four beasts, are not so, but they are like the chaff which the wind driveth away. Okay. Anybody else have any comments on that? That was Psalm 1. Okay. Everybody good on that? Okay. So with that being said, we got a health moment. We're going to deal with that, and then we'll go into our current events.
Yes, sir. Shalom, everyone. Please know that the information that is shared is intended for general, informational, and educational purposes only and is not medical advice or recommended treatment. Today's discussion is on the importance of exercise. We all have heard many times before that exercise is good for us, but do you know how good it is? Exercise is defined as any movement that makes your muscles work and requires your body to burn calories. Being active has many health benefits, both physically and mentally. It may even help you live longer. Here's some ways exercise can benefit your body and brain. Exercise can make you feel happier. It can improve your mood and decrease feelings of depression, anxiety, and stress. It can help with weight management. Exercise plays a vital role in building and maintaining strong muscles and bones. As we age, we tend to lose muscle mass, strength, and function. This leads to an increased risk of injury. Practicing regular physical activity is essential to reducing muscle loss and maintaining strength as you age. Exercise can help boost your energy while helping to reduce fatigue. It can reduce your risk of chronic disease. Exercise can improve brain function and protect your memory and thinking skills. To begin with, exercise increases your heart rate. This promotes the flow of blood and oxygen to your brain. It can also stimulate the production of hormones that enhance the growth of brain cells. It can help you relax and sleep better. Exercise offers incredible benefits that can improve nearly every aspect of your health. And the good news is that it's never too late to start. You can start slowly and find ways to fit more physical activity into your life. If you can do that, the payoff is that you will feel better, may help prevent or control many diseases, and will likely even live longer. Today, I'm going to be reading from Proverbs chapter 24, verses 1 through 5, the wise man's strength. Be thou not envious against evil men, neither desire to be with them, for their heart studieth destruction, and their lips talk of mischief. Through wisdom is an house built, and by understanding it is established. Verse 4, and by knowledge shall the chambers be filled with all precious and pleasant riches. A wise man is strong, yea, a man of knowledge increaseth strength. Today's discussion was on the importance of exercise, and I read Proverbs 24, verses 1 through 5, the wise man's strength. Shalom, everyone.
Okay, appreciate that information. Okay. Uh, Anybody have any comments on it? Okay. Somebody got something?
Shalom. I just wanted to say thank you, Sister Michelle, for that. I really try to follow exercising every morning, even if it's doing stretching or something, because I learned it really early that, you just have to keep your body up. Thank you so much.
Yes, shalom.
Okay. So with that being said, we'll go to some current events, right? And then we'll play them and then we'll discuss them. Okay.
texting immediately and protect yourself. That is what the FBI is now warning millions and millions of Americans to stop sending text message because they can be read and intercepted by Chinese hackers. Now, I want to explain what's going on here because just the other day, we learned that Chinese hackers have gone into 8 telecom centers and firms and were able to access metadata. That's concerning. But according to the FBI, the American public still doesn't understand the ramifications of what could be coming. So today I want to break that down, explain what is going on, why you should just stop sending text message altogether, specifically from an iPhone to an Android phone. So I'll break all that down in just a moment, but all I ask is one thing. It takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now let's begin. So if you watched the video that I did just earlier on this week, I told you that if you send a text message or a phone call goes on between an Apple phone, so an Apple and Apple, okay? So iPhone to iPhone or Android to Android, they're encrypted. But it's not encrypted if it goes from an Android to an iPhone or vice versa. That's the problem. So this is where it all comes from. It says Chinese hackers stole large amounts of Americans' phone data from 8 telecoms, according to officials. It says officials say it isn't clear when the telecommunications companies will be able to rid their networks of the hackers. As of right now, according to reports, it's highly complex, very complicated. They have dug their way in, and so it could be some time. That's all we know, which is why the FBI is sending the warning to not text between Android and iPhone users because it poses a cyber risk. It says officials say the cyber breach is ongoing, and it may take some time to fully root out the bad actors from telecom systems. And this is from all of these systems: AT&T, Verizon, okay, Lumen Technologies. It's going around. Now, what do? Well, according to experts, just don't send a text message or conduct a phone call between an Android and an iPhone. That's it. But it actually goes a little bit further. Now, I want to play a couple videos for you. First, watch this one.
If you have an iPhone and you need to send a message to an Android user, you're advised to use secure apps like Signal or WhatsApp. The warning comes amid high-profile recent hacking incidents that have been linked to China.
Okay, so use Signal or WhatsApp. Those are the first things that you can do to actually protect yourself. Now, here's the problem. If you have WhatsApp on your phone, but somebody else doesn't have it on their phone, essentially, you have to send them a text message to let them know, hey, get WhatsApp so I can send you a message. So it's a little bit of a problem, but it's not the end of the world. Just let them know, hey, we'll do all our communications over on WhatsApp. Can you go ahead and download that app? That's it, right? Or when you're talking to somebody, let them know, hey, I'm not going to send you any more text messages through the regular text message portal, whatever. Let's get WhatsApp. Let's get Signal, right? Let's get one of those. Simple as that. Want to play you another one, though. Listen to this one as well.
Average American sends or receives roughly 40 text messages every day, rather than having an over-the-phone conversation, according to a Pew Research study.
I want to jump in there. How many of you send or receive 40 text messages per day? I know for me personally, I probably don't even send that many. I don't receive that many. Phone calls, I probably get 2 to 3 phone calls a day. That's about it, okay? The majority of my communication is all through email and other forms like that. But I bring this up because of this one thing. If you don't know who's sending you a text message, if they're sending you a link, don't click on it. If you don't know who's calling you, okay, for me personally, I won't answer it. If I don't have an actual name next to that phone number, I will not answer it, okay? I just don't, because I don't trust people anymore. You can't trust all these scammers. They're finding new ways to contact you via your cell phone, email, you probably get letters to your house. They're still using so many different ways. So let's keep listening to this.
There are communications that may not be as private as you think. U.S. officials saying Chinese cyber criminals called the Salt Typhoon Group are responsible for an unprecedented attack.
So far, been able to get into companies such as T-Mobile, Verizon, AT&T, and Lumen Technologies. They've all confirmed that they've been targeted by this group. And unfortunately, they've been able to access a large amount of metadata across those organizations.
Eric Franklin, who works with Scarlet Cybersecurity as their director of client services, says the attack is particularly concerning because text messages between Android and iPhone users expose the users to more vulnerability. So right there, they expose the users to more vulnerabilities between Android and iPhone. That's the reason why the FBI is coming out and saying and warning everybody. If you have an iPhone and you know you're sending a text message to an Android user, get them on WhatsApp, get them on Signal, get them on a different platform that is fully encrypted, encryption and end-to-end encryption. Okay? Because yes, as an iPhone user, you do have, it is encrypted, but when you're sending it to an Android user, that's where things get a little bit mixed up. Now, I bring this up for multiple reasons. Number one, they can already be in the system. They can already be, accessing your phones, right? Listening to your phone calls, receiving your text messages. They could be doing all that stuff right now. That's one of the reasons why we need to be a little bit more, proactive. Don't send out and make sure we're protecting ourselves, but don't send out your credit card information. Don't put your social security number, in a text message or even say it, right? Because things are different now than they were 5 years ago or 10 years ago.
Okay, any comments on that? Anybody heard anything about that?
Shalom, yes, sir. At my last job, our company cars used to get hacked all the time, and to because of the things that he's talking about, and it was a regular thing too.
Okay, yeah. So they got some. It's something going on. I remember a video that we had watched a while back where they had some kind of cameras or listening device on those caterpillars. You remember that? On the equipment that they were sending over here, they had some kind of spy device or spyware on those machineries that they were shipping to America. And then those cranes that they use at the shipping ports. Okay.
Shalom, I remember that.
Yeah, it makes all the sense in the world because like they talking about smart TVs. Yeah, it's smart because they're spying on you. And the refrigerators and the, the stoves. Yeah. Okay.
Shalom.
Yeah.
Yes, they had that out when the era of Trump was in office, the first time he came in office, and they were speaking on it. But Kellyanne Kelly, I think Kellyanne, she was making mockery about it and says, "Oh, so I'll turn on my microwave and it's going to take a picture of me," and she was making a lot of jokes and stuff about it. And then as we can see, what are they gaining from doing such of individuals who may not have anything, they're not a business, they're not, they don't do, they probably don't have any money in the bank, so how they're getting all this information to, we don't know what they're doing it for, but I mean, why would they target people who doesn't have, much going for them?
Right. So it goes back to when it goes back to the masses. So and it goes all the way back to when you understand who the children of the children of the angels, children of the fallen angels, the giants. They're not as big and that's not as tall as they used to can identify them easily. You still can, but you can use to identify them so easily because of their height. But we know he sent Michael and Gabriel and them down, bound those angels that were sleeping with the women. So from that point on, they started getting smaller and smaller, and now they're at the point where they all same height. And so, but they still have all those characteristics. And their objective is, that's where the arrogance coming in at. That they are destined to rule the majority of the people because of their origins, where they came from. So when you start talking about kings and all that, they feel like they are they obligated, or they they had a right to rule over the people. So the masses are really the ones that have the authority. So, but we never use it because we're so brainwashed by that small amount of people that's the so-called royals or whatever that's ruling over us. So they have to watch those things, monitor us, because that's the only reason they're ruling. As long as they're keeping us ignorant, like I said, worshiping JC. Look at the majority of the people that's worshiping JC, and the money and the commerce and the control that's involved in that. So they now that they have the technology, they're gonna monitor us. They monitor everything we do, and that's in order to keep us under control. Find out what you do, what you like, where you go, and what all that, because there's money in it.
Shalom. So they're
Right.
using China to help them out with that, because
No, it's not just China. It's all countries. They're doing it. Like for example, the Russians. Putin is ruling because he's doing the same thing to all the people in Russia. And over here, the Americans, the people that's in charge over here, they only ruling because of the system they set in place to rule the masses over here, keep them dumbed down and brainwashed. So it's a system that's in place each country. Like we saw in Daniel, it's a prince over Greece, it's a prince over Persia, it's a prince over. So that information been passed down. That's the only way they're ruling. When the masses realize that they being manipulated and hoodwinked, that's when it's over for them.
Shalom. So that brings
Right.
me back to when I was younger and was watching television, The Twilight Zone. They had one movie or situation where this big giant was over many towns and was standing there and just going in, moving people around or doing things, controlling their little girl had her little dollhouse, and she had
Right.
a community and everything. So she was controlling everything that went on in those little communities. So the Twilight Zone was something that a lot of things that they did back then, I can see it happening nowadays, or when I was coming up, when I was 30 and 40 years old and coming up, I can see some of those things similar to what the Twilight Zone was doing.
Exactly.
So here now that we have that technology that is being revealed to us, because I believe it already has been in the works 20,
Right.
30 years, 40 years ago, and they're just revealing it to us to get us more into giving information out, I guess, because people want to be connected.
Right.
Yes, sir.
And so many people don't understand the scale of that. Like I was saying before, JC just one example. It's the reason why, when you understand, they had 16 crucified saviors before him. Well, what was the purpose of those crucified saviors before him? To do the same thing he's doing. Control the people, have them running behind him with their eyes wide open, running behind him, fumbling behind him. Keep them in control. But it goes way deeper than that, because look at basketball. So we and sports, we have all the talent. So it should be sports teams in every country. I mean, in every city. But they only limited it to 28 teams because they know there's going to be Negroes going to come up and be wealthy, and then and you never know what's going to happen from there once they get the money. But so they keep it limited. people, and then you got all these kids all across America, black boys, they got skills, aspiring to be basketball players, and they ain't gonna be. Then you got the rap industry, aspiring to be a rapper, but they ain't gonna be a rapper. There's gonna be very few that sellouts that's gonna be the rappers, because it ain't about the talent. It's about what you sell out to do. Then they allow you to come up the ladder. But if you don't fall into the program, you ain't gonna become successful. But they got this canopy there that all these kids brainwashed when they can be in the scriptures. They can be seeking the Lord of hosts, but they trying to be rappers, or they trying to be football players or basketball players. It's all a brainwashing gimmick they got in place. Yeah. Anybody have any comments on that? Yeah. So
Shalom.
anyway, okay, go ahead.
Brother Leonard, just to that sentiment, to that brainwashing, they definitely those 18 missing years you were saying, because I had spent my whole life playing sports, because I used to look at,
Right.
Allen Iverson and them, oh, I bought my mama a house and all that stuff. And shoot, that happened for generations. It's still happening. And that I could have been focusing on this.
Exactly. Yeah, and then you look back, like in my case, you look back, you could have been a millionaire 3 times over if you went in the right direction.
Yes, sir.
But you was doing the wrong stuff, yeah. And that's all. That's a trick. All of it, all of it is a trick. When you start your mind started to focus on things, you see that. Yeah. Anybody else? Okay. We got another one right here.
The appeals court has ruled that former President Trump does not enjoy presidential immunity that would shield him from the federal election subversion case. Now, it has taken about a month to get to this decision, but it was pretty clear during the oral arguments in early January that judges appeared unlikely to agree with Trump's lawyers that he should be shielded by presidential immunity because of the things he allegedly did occurred while he was still president. His lawyers face really tough questions about whether there were any limitations on their theory of executive power. This is a 3-judge panel. So this is an appeals court. They said, quote, "For the purpose of this criminal case, former President Trump has become citizen Trump with all of the defenses of any other criminal defendant. But any executive immunity that may have protected him while he served as president no longer protects him against this prosecution." The DC appeals court has ruled that former president.
Okay. Anybody heard anything about that?
No, sir. Now I've heard that he already said he's gonna pardon all the January 6th rioters, and also he is trying to get the case dismissed in Georgia against him.
Right. Right. Well, this is what they're saying right here, that they're not going. This has nothing to do with the law they got in place as far as being a president and being immune. They're saying this has nothing to do with it because of when it occurred and when it happened, he wasn't the president. So this has nothing. This is outside of the laws that they have in place. So I don't know where that's gonna go, but yeah, they didn't buck that. So that particular situation still in effect, still ongoing.
Okay. Shalom. They put that up before about his trial, and like again, November the 15th didn't come. He didn't go to. He didn't have court or anything. So what they're gonna do is put it off. It's been said they'll keep talking about it, but they put it off until he gets out of office, serves his 4-year term, and be out of office, because he, with the legislator and going into this fiscal year coming up, he says now it's not immunity that they're not going to give him, but they're going to hold it off until he becomes a citizen again. So that's so, so far-fetched, but he should never have been the president in the first place or run to be the president. But being that they allowed that to happen, it's just a lot of entertainment for the news and for the people and the reporters. It's just not going anywhere. He's going to
Right.
be president for the 4 years, and then after that, who knows if he's going to be able, they may deem him dementia or deem him with some illness and not put him in jail.
Okay. You gotta look at that. Yeah, exactly. Like I said, keep your eyes on JD Vance. Yeah, he's there for a reason. Okay. So anybody else got anything on that?
I think it's entertainment for Trump too. You know what I'm saying? He is really not taking all this serious. Like I said, he's already like he's in the chair. You know what I'm saying? With his threats and he already has day one planned out. So he has a full day on day one. He may not never sleep. But I just think he's thinking this is entertainment too, just like the show that he had. And I don't know if you guys heard about this, but Trump is always coming up with something to make money, right? So now I was reading today that he's selling perfumes and cologne for I think it was like $200 or something like that, and he named it Fight Fight Fight. So that tells you where Trump is at. And it said that he named it that because it represents us winning. Right. So, he had the sneakers before.
Right.
Doing when he had his mug shot taken in Georgia, he was selling digital trading cards with that. So he's constantly making money. You know what I'm saying? Off of this whole ordeal. Yes. Yes.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't that what the mega pastor do?
Yes.
Ain't that something? Yeah.
Exactly. Yep. And don't forget about the Bibles that he was selling.
Right.
I forgot about that. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think they was like $60 or something. I was reading on that today. They sold for like $60 a pop. So he just thinks this entertainment too.
Right. He riding as long as he can.
Yes.
Exactly. And like I was saying, what people don't understand is they didn't do their research. Like I was saying, we were talking earlier about why do they do what they do with the population, the masses of the people, because there's so much money involved in it. So they didn't watch the process, the political process, and they know, like I said, you got every 4 years you bring a president in, and 9 times out of 10, the party's gonna switch over because there's gonna be so many people dissatisfied with what that previous administration did. So when the next administration come in, they got 2 years because you got midterm elections. So they didn't spiderized our election to where they at now. They got control of the judicial system. They got control of the Senate, and they got control of the House, and they got a Republican president. They got 2 years. And they know whatever they're gonna do, they got 2 years to do it, not 4. Because the midterms, if they ain't doing right, they doing the most, they gonna vote all them people out. They're gonna lose the House. And they're gonna lose the Congress. So they got 2 years. That's why they doing everything they can now. When January 1st come, all hell gonna break loose because they're gonna hit the ground running.
Yes,
I don't understand that. Right. So, like I said, should be preparing your mind for it, and not only preparing your mind, your surroundings. Because it's not like they're gonna all of a sudden say, no, we're gonna time out, we ain't gonna do it. No, they're gonna do it. Okay. So, with that being said, let me see what I got right here. Got some need to know information. Play this. I was talking about this earlier, how what we're looking at now is the same thing that happened in the past, where the Most High would bring somebody that's unrighteous, a wicked man, but he bring him on the scene to do his will for him. like Cyrus was an example, the Pharaoh, right? You're going to use those people to, or Artaxerxes, use them to do his will, then he judge them.
The black Israelites shakes
So we're looking at the same thing now with Russia, pertaining to us, and bringing our identity to the forefront.
Religious world. In a groundbreaking revelation that has sent shockwaves through religious, academic, and cultural circles, recent discoveries in Russia suggest a deeper historical connection between the ancient Israelites and the black diaspora. The claim, supported by archaeological findings and historical reinterpretations, challenges centuries-old narratives about the origins and identities of the biblical Israelites.
So when you say black diaspora, it's only one place you can deal with that. It's here in America. That's what a black diaspora is.
For the American audience, particularly African Americans with a historical connection to the Black Hebrew Israelite movement, this revelation strikes a chord of profound significance, igniting both hope and controversy. This moment is more than a mere academic breakthrough. It is a spiritual upheaval. It forces the religious world to confront deeply ingrained assumptions, reevaluate historical biases, and consider the implications of long-buried truths. Why now? Why Russia? And why does this discovery matter so much, especially in the United States? To understand the weight of this revelation, we must delve into the discovery itself, the reactions it has provoked, and the cultural and spiritual awakening it could inspire. If you're intrigued by these groundbreaking revelations and their implications, make sure to subscribe to our channel for more in-depth discussions. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so don't forget to leave a comment below and join the conversation.
Shalom.
Okay.
One.
Yes.
The groundbreaking discovery announced by a coalition of
go ahead.
Russian
You got
historians.
some? You got some?
No, I'm sorry, Brother Leonard. I've had some problems with people in the past talking about black Hebrews, and I was telling them all Hebrews were and is black. You know, they try to specify that this is a special black group, and I was saying all the Hebrews were black and is black.
Right. Exactly. Right. Yeah, they came up with this. These guys came up with this chart talking about the Mexicans and the Hawaiians and all them with different tribes. No, all of them. Jacob and his 4 wives was Negroes. Okay.
Archaeologists and geneticists is reshaping historical and cultural narratives concerning the ancient Israelites and their migratory patterns. Unearthed in regions historically linked to the Near East and Central Asia, a trove of artifacts and manuscripts now points to connections between the Israelites and African regions, particularly sub-Saharan Africa. This discovery is not merely archaeological, it also incorporates genetic evidence and long overlooked historical manuscripts, creating a multidisciplinary approach to understanding ancient migrations and their profound implications. At the core of this discovery are 3 categories of evidence: artifacts bearing Semitic inscriptions, DNA analyses revealing genetic ties, and manuscripts recounting migration narratives. Together, these findings paint a picture of an ancient Israelite identity that was far more ethnically and geographically diverse than traditionally understood. Among the most striking elements of the discovery are artifacts bearing inscriptions and symbols resembling ancient Hebrew script. Found in remote areas of Central Asia and Africa, these objects range from pottery fragments to ceremonial relics. Some of these artifacts display distinct markings commonly associated with early Semitic writing, suggesting their creators were either Israelites or groups heavily influenced by Israelite culture. Interestingly, many of these symbols align with iconography found in parts of West Africa, including regions associated with ancient kingdoms such as Mali, Ghana, and Songhai. For instance, some artifacts bear geometric patterns and linguistic elements that mirror the Proto-Sinaitic script, an early form of Hebrew. These patterns have also been observed in the designs of traditional African art and architecture, hinting at a shared cultural heritage or prolonged exchange between these regions. Researchers emphasize the significance of these artifacts, noting that their geographic dispersion challenges established timelines of Israelite history. While traditional biblical narratives focus on the Israelites' presence in the Levant, these findings suggest their influence and possibly their presence.
For the Levant, right, Middle East, and the Sahel, same place. That's how they throw a lot of people out, but that's all the same place. Right? So like I said, now we see in these last days, look where all what we see in the hand of the Most High. It's over there in Sahel, which is the land of Canaan, which is the Middle East, which is the Levant, same place. Okay.
Extended far beyond these borders. Perhaps the most compelling aspect of the discovery lies in the field of genetics. Researchers analyzed DNA samples from preserved remains found alongside the artifacts, revealing unexpected connections between ancient Israelites and certain African ethnic groups. Advanced genetic sequencing techniques uncovered markers indicating shared ancestry between the Israelites and populations in sub-Saharan Africa. One of the most significant findings was the presence of haplogroups, genetic markers passed down through generations, common among both ancient Israelites and African groups, such as the Lemba people of southern Africa and certain tribes in West Africa. The Lemba, for example, have long claimed descent from Israelites, and genetic testing has supported their oral traditions by identifying the presence of the Cohen mobile haplotype, a genetic marker associated with the priestly line of Aaron. This genetic evidence complicates traditional Eurocentric interpretations of biblical history, which have often excluded African populations from the narrative of ancient Israel.
Okay, so like I said, you want to watch this video right into its entirety. It's like 30 minutes. Why is Russia's discovery of Black Israelites shaking the world religion? And so if you look at that, you can see that not only are Russia along with the BRICS is attacking the dollar, but they know who we are over here. And they're attacking that deception of them, the lies they told about who the Israelites are. So they're attacking from both ends, from a religious perspective and from an economical perspective. And like I said, the Lord of hosts, leave it up to him. He know how to do you. They asked the question in Obadiah, who can bring the beast down, right? The Lord of hosts can bring him down. He knows just how to bring him down. He brought the first three down. He brought the Babylonians, the Medes and Persians, and the Greeks. He's going to bring this place down. Okay? Any comments?
Shalom. Yes, in the earlier times, like in 1978 and up to, I think, the 2000s, Russia and the black people in Russia had so much hard time. And even though Putin knew, or he had this thing that he put out last year that the JC was black, to gain whatever he was trying to do with that. But he had conflict with them all the time. And so of last year, he started to flip the strip and wants to really show that he can work with Africa, want to do these things, and like you said, the Lord of hosts is using him.
Exactly.
And being that he is, I think he is Gog or Magog. Which one is Russia, Gog or Magog?
I think China is Magog.
Okay, so being that Russia is Gog, it's already in prophecy that Gog is going to be ruined. You know, it's going to be torn down. It's not going to be there. He's not going to be a ruler. There's not going to have them above anything.
Right. So you go back and you look at scripture. So did he use Nebuchadnezzar to burn Jerusalem because of the sins of the Israelites?
Yes.
After that, what did he do? After Nebuchadnezzar did that, what did he do?
He had him
He judged him.
Yes, sir.
So same thing. That's the pattern. He gonna get him to do what he want him to do. Then he judge him. That's how he operate.
Shalom.
Right.
I don't know if this has any significance, but Russia is giving Assad in Syria asylum.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Anything. Russia and China is the main players, but you have those other three countries along with BRICS. That's you got South Africa and India and Brazil, but Russia and China is the main players. But anything that's American, they go on the opposite of it. If America side with Assad, they're gonna go against Assad. If America go against Assad, they're gonna side with Assad. Because they trying to bring this place, they systematically bringing this place down. Anything that's American, they going against it. And that's from the Most High. Like I showed you how he was with Solomon. We saw how he was with Solomon, how he gave Solomon all the riches of the world and all the wisdom. And then when Solomon turned from him, then he started bringing all of David's enemies to Jerusalem to get Solomon's mind right. It's no different than right here, right now. He's bringing this place down. He's bringing he's putting on all the people that have a problem with America. He's putting it on their mind to come here and bring damage, chaos to this place, and that's what's happening. And nobody can stay in there, like Jeremiah said. You know, just leave me alone. Most High, the Lord of hosts is on him so bad, he just said, just leave me alone. Just let me. Elijah did the same thing. He ran and hid in the cave. Because once you draw it out, it's over with. It's like this truth right here. Once you get a revelation of it, you can't go back and try to act like you didn't get it. It's consequences to it. Okay. Yeah. Anybody else got anything on that? Okay.
Shalom. I just have
yeah.
one thing, and I'll make it quick. As we know, for Russia going against having war with Ukraine, and during the pandemic, how they treated the blacks there, and how the blacks were leaving Russia, leaving Ukraine, couldn't get into Poland because they didn't want them there. They were leaving China. So by them dispersing from those areas in the China and Russia, Magog and Gog. So if those chosen people are in there, they're moving out. They're heading from those areas, venturing to maybe the land that they need to be in when all goes down.
Right.
That's all I want to say.
Well, right. It's a process. Like I was saying when you go to Ezra, right? Ezra came back. It was 3 waves of Israelites that came out of Babylon. Ezra and the group that came back with him was the last wave. When Ezra got to Jerusalem, those other people that came earlier with Zerubbabel and them, they had already started intermingling with the other people and they had picked back up where they left off. So, but when Ezra got there, he came and he had Levites with him. And those Levites started pronouncing the Most High's judgments and bringing forth his law. So that ain't just happened overnight. He had already prepared Ezra and those Levites before they left Babylon. So it's the same thing now. 10, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, he was dealing with men. Opening their eyes up, leading them and getting them right for the understanding of the scriptures. And now that it's time for prophecy to take place, he already got people in place he already been dealing with long before this even started. You know, it ain't something just happened overnight. It's a process. Right. They just only happening now is people starting to see. Right. It's like now you got people that with all the information that's on the internet and all the information that you go about on a day-to-day basis looking on the internet, it's people that don't even know what a Hebrew Israelite is. They don't know nothing about this conversation. They know nothing. And that in itself is amazing, but that's how it is. And at the same time, he got people that he's been dealing with for 30 years, 40 years. for this very time right here. This happening. Okay. Any comments? Okay, I'm gonna open up for some Q&A. Anybody have any questions or comments about anything you want to talk about? Something they came across or question that bubbled up in their mind?
Shalom. Yes, sir. I was looking at Isaiah chapter 11, and I read through there, and it seems to be something that's a replica of what's going on now. Um, as I went through and was talking about how things are going to, at the first beginning, how all the animals and things will be, not fighting each other and what have you. And then it gets down to how these other countries, places, are going to fall, and how the Lord of hosts will make a pathway where people will go across the dry hood and be as one
Joshua,
again. Yes, sir. And be as one again.
that's Isaiah chapter 11.
Isaiah chapter 11, verses 1 through 16.
Okay.
Yes, sir. And how he's saying he's
What,
going to destroy. Sir?
yeah, it's two verses in there that destroy that whole the New Testament. The very first verse. You got the verses right there.
Yes, sir. Verse 1. And there
11 and
shall
1.
come 11 and 1. Yes, sir. And there shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse, and a branch shall grow out of his roots. Verse 1.
So who is it?
That right there, the stem of
Who is it?
Jesse is
Who is it?
David.
Right. Who is Jesse?
Jesse is the grandfather of, David.
No, it's David's daddy.
David's dad. I'm sorry. David's
Yeah.
father.
Jesse's David's daddy. Now read verse 10.
And in that day there shall be a root of Jesse, which shall stand for a sign of the people. To it shall the Gentiles seek, and his rest shall be glorious.
So who is that? That's David, ain't it?
That's David
It
when
says
he comes
a
to
root out
judge.
of Jesse. A root out
Yes,
of
sir.
Jesse. JC is a root out of who? A lot they tell you
Um,
he's a root out of David.
right, but not a descendant of David, because he's not even a seed from Mary,
Right, right,
cannot produce a seed like that.
right. It's a big difference in being a root out of Jesse and a root out of David. Because
Yes,
Jesse got
sir.
his own house. Jesse got his own house. David got his own house.
Yes, sir.
So
So,
that's where they messed up at. And like I said, back in the day when they did all that, the 99% of the people in the world was illiterate. It was just the royals, the ones that was getting educated.
and they were going by hearsay and the word of mouth.
Right, right, right. And then they was illiterate.
Yes, sir.
They had no, yeah. So and that's how we got to where it's at today. And so people just riding off of what was passed down to them. They're not reading it, and using common sense and reasoning. They're just reading it because of what was told to them. But it says Jesse. So like I said, the blind man in the New Testament, when he was standing there and JC came by him, he said, "Son of David." Didn't he say that?
Yes, sir.
He didn't say son of Jesse. He said son of David. Big difference. Okay.
Yes, sir. So, would that be something that's replicating what's going on today, as far as the wars that's happening, and how we're drilling down? What happened today with overseas there, where they have to flee this area because now this man is taking over. It's,
Exactly. It's like he said in Daniel, that we see how back in like 3 or 4 years ago, how they had all these different mass migrations, like the Mexicans was coming into America, people was coming from Brazil, and all the stuff that happened in the Middle East and with Gaza and all those different groups, was all these migrants popping up all over the place. That's not coincidence, because of not only do we have to be, we're gonna eventually be a migrant group, because we got to go back to Israel. So all we've been looking at is signs of prophecy coming to pass, because we're not saying we're not gonna stay here.
Shalom. So that path that it says joining Alaska and Russia, they said that it's going to, the water is going to dissipate in that land that's under that trail that was there years ago, decades, would um, eventually be there for, it's going to come. It's being said that it's going to come back as a path to walk, drive through, or whatever you're going to do. And you can leave Alaska and go to Russia because that is there. It's just underwater.
Right,
Would that
right.
be a
That's
pathway?
well, that's tied to when you understand the Esau, that that's how you get the Indian. I talked about this before. You had black people that was already here in America, right? They was called the Folsom people, that was already here from the beginning, and then the Chinese, the Mongoloids, Chinese people came across that area you're talking about, that land bridge, and they came into America and they intermingled with the black people that was already here. That's how you get the red man. That's how you get the Indian. And so Esau is the architect behind all of that. He's the one behind these people hollering about the American Indian is Israelite and all that. That's where that's coming from. So he told us in Isaiah chapter 60, we're gonna look at our sons and daughters coming from afar in the ships of Tarsus. We came over here on ships, and the scripture said we're going back on ships. Okay. Anybody else got anything? Did that answer your question? Okay. Anybody else got anything? Any questions or comments?
Yes, sir. I do, Brother Leonard. I have a little bit of need to know information, and I have a question.
Okay.
Uh, I was reading today again on the Kessler syndrome. I don't know if you guys have heard of that, but it was saying that it could leave the earth without internet, TV, and working phones, right? So as you were playing that video earlier, I was thinking about this article that I had read, right? And so it was first mentioned, it said in 1978 by a scientist named Donald Kessler and Burton Core Palace. Kessler syndrome describes a potential chain reaction in space. As more satellites and debris populate the Earth's orbit, collisions happen. These collisions generate additional fragments, which increase the likelihood of further crashes. Satellites responsible for global communication, weather monitoring, and navigation could be destroyed. Some experts believe we are already on the brink of Kessler syndrome. And it mentioned the collision that Russia had with the operational US satellite, right? That there's all this debris that's already up there. So if this continues to happen, they are looking for us to lose internet, television, and navigation systems. So I just kind of want to put that out there, and so we can be alert of that. I think they always warn us before something happens. So
Right.
if you guys want to look that up, it's called the Kessler syndrome.
Okay.
Yes, sir. And my question, Brother Leonard, that I was reading again today in Genesis, right? Starting with
Okay.
Adam and Eve, right? So do you think that it was a curse or punishment that Adam and Eve received?
Right. So if you go back and you
Starting in
read that,
Genesis 3.
right, go in Genesis chapter 3, you'll see that you'll read that it's and keep in mind just for keeping it back in mind what Moses and what Aaron and Miriam did. So
Yes, sir.
just like he's it's the serpent, Adam and Eve standing before the Lord of hosts, same thing. It's Aaron and Moses. I mean Aaron and
Miriam.
Miriam is standing before him. So let's
Yes,
keep
sir.
that in mind. And then
Okay.
Cain standing before him too.
Okay.
Right? And then understand that he changed now. So anyway, you go to
Right.
chapter 3, and you'll see that it says start at 14. Okay, I started 13.
Yes. Okay.
And the Lord God said unto the woman, what is this that thou hast done? And the woman said, the serpent beguiled me, and I did eat. We know that was sex, right?
Right. Yes, sir.
14. And the Lord God said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, all three of them standing there. The Lord God
Okay.
said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and thus shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed, and it shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. Right? So, like I said, it's three of them standing there. He started with the serpent. We saw what he did.
Yes.
He cursed the serpent. Right?
Yes,
Now
sir.
we at the woman. We at the woman. And he says, 16, unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrows and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desires shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. So this is the punishment he gave the woman. He never said curse. So you say, well, what are you talking about? Well, he said, in sorrow thou shalt bring forth children. Why? And thy desire shall be to thy husband. So what is he talking about? Go back to chapter 2, right? So they had Adam had received these instructions before the serpent came. Adam had received instructions because before Eve was even made. Then when Eve was prepared, formed, then Adam gave Eve the instructions. So they had the instructions, right? And then so it says, and not only that, go to 21, Genesis chapter 2, verse 21. And the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam. He slept, and he took one of the ribs, and he closed up the flesh thereof, and the rib which the Lord God had made, had taken from man, made he woman, and brought her to the man, right? And Adam said, Adam, see that? Not Yahweh, but the Lord of hosts. Adam said, this is now bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman because she was taken out of man. Then 24, Adam still talking. Therefore, shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and she shall be one flesh. So Adam spoke that they one flesh, right? Adam spoke that. So now we back over here with the punishment. And he told her, unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children. Thy desires shall be toward thy husband, and he shall rule over thee, right? So we saw what Adam had said. Adam made them one flesh. They working together in tandem. So we get to chapter 3 when the serpent showed up. All this was established before the serpent showed up. Now the serpent there, I'm in chapter 3, verse 1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord God had made. And he said unto the woman, see that? To the woman, yea, have God said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden. And the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit trees of the garden. But the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God has said, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. So talk about him. So let's look at that. So touch. When you go do your research on that word touch and go to the Hebrew, it means to lie with a woman. That's what that means. So, and then you got to look at it. Tree, what tree you know since you've been living that, you know, gonna do anything to you as a woman. It's gonna do anything to you as a woman. It ain't. So when you understand that it's him, he the one he don't want them dealing with. What? Because man made in their image. Man got a genitalia. He got genitalia. So he the tree that's in the midst of the garden. So then he says, and the serpent said unto the woman, ye shall not surely die. For God doeth know that in the day that ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be open, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good. Gods, we know gods is the fallen is angels, lowercase gods, them angels, knowing good and evil. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, a tree to be desired. They go to desire right there. That's what brought about our punishment. Remember what Adam already said. Adam said him and her is one flesh. Now she over here looking googly-eyed at the serpent. Verse 6, when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, that it was pleasant to the eyes, a tree to be desired, to make one wise, she took the fruit thereof, did eat, gave unto her husband that was with her, and he did eat. So then you go to the punishment. Genesis 3:16. Unto the woman, he said, the Lord of hosts, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. Why? In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, because thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. So her desire went toward the serpent. That's what got her in trouble. She already told us he seduced her. So what did he seduce her for, though? To play marbles or play checkers? Why did he seduce her? He laid with her. So how did they end up laying together? She desired him. That's why he's saying right here. That's what her punishment is. But notice he never said cursed. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children and thy desire. See, now you gotta do something with your desire. You gotta redirect your desire. It got you in trouble in the garden with the serpent. So she says, and so shall it be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. Then now, let's go to 17. And under Adam, he said, so he dueling our punishment. Notice he cursed the serpent when he dealt with him. And unto Adam, he said, because thou hast hearkened to the voice of thy wife, check it out, and hast eaten of the tree, listen to the serpent, of which I commanded thee, saying thou shalt not eat of it. Cursed is the ground. He didn't curse Adam. Cursed is the ground, what I say. See that? So because he loved Adam. Like I said, go back to I was telling you about this Hebrew idiom where they keep saying the tender mercies of David. So what we're looking at right here, the tender mercies of Adam. So he says, thou shalt not eat of it. Cursed is the ground. He didn't curse Adam. He loved Adam. See that? So he didn't curse Adam. He cursed the ground. But Adam the one that hearkened to his wife, not the ground. But he cursed Adam. I mean, he cursed the ground. Because he didn't want to curse Adam. He says, thou shalt not eat of it. Cursed is the ground for thy sake. And in sorrow shalt thou eat of it all the days of thy life. Thorns also and thistles shall it bring forth to thee. And thou shalt eat of the herb of the field. And in the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat the bread till thou return to the ground, for out of it was thou taken, and thus art thou until the dust shall I return. So what we looking at? So let's look at a man and his mama, right? So you standing there, you dealing with the judge, right? The judge, you in court. You done did something. You done went rob somebody, or you done did something wrong, and the mom in the court with you. She back there sitting in the back of the courtroom, and then the judge say, "Curse is your mama." He don't curse you. she ain't did that, but he said, "Curse is your mama." Well, that's the same situation right there. The earth is Adam, mama. So the Most High said, because he loved Adam so much, he said, "Cursed is Adam." See that? He said, "Cursed is the earth," where he brought him from, right? He said, cursed is the earth. He didn't curse Adam. So now let's look at that. And see if I can get some feedback. So remember what he told the serpent. He cursed the serpent. Okay, now we're in chapter 12. Miriam, they standing before the same God, the Lord of hosts. Miriam and Aaron. And they didn't see him. It says, "And the cloud departed from off the tabernacle, and behold, Miriam became leprous." That's what curse means, right there.
Okay.
Leprous.
Yes.
So he says, and behold, Miriam became leprous, white as snow. That's what curse means, right? Then he says, and Aaron looked upon Miriam, and behold, she was leprous. And Aaron said unto Moses, "Atlas, my Lord." Same Lord that's in Genesis with Moses, with Adam and Eve. Says, "Atlas, my Lord, I beseech thee, lay not this sin upon us, wherein we have done foolishly, and wherein we have sinned, and let her not be as one dead." See that? "Of whom the flesh is had consumed." See that? Flesh is had consumed when he cometh out of the mother's womb. And Moses cried unto the Lord, saying, "Heal her, O God, I beseech thee." And the Lord said unto Moses, "If her father had but spit in her face, should she not be ashamed 7 days, and let her be shut out from the camp 7 days, and after that, let her be received in again." So Miriam was shut out from the camp 7 days, and the people journeyed. So she was out. He turned her white. When you understand what dark matter is, melanin is dark matter. So he took his essence, the dark matter, from her, and left her white. So so we say, what are you talking about? The skills that you see that we possess, the singing, and all the rhythm and all that. That's what the melanin was. That's what he breathed in Adam. So he took that and left her white. So you say, what are you talking about? That's what curse means. So now let's go back to Genesis and go to Cain. Then I want you to know this. So I'm in chapter curse of Cain, right? So notice he never cursed Eve. So 10, I'm in chapter 4, verse 10. And he said, same Lord standing before Cain. He said, "What hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood cried unto me from the ground." They go to the ground again. "And now art thou cursed." See that? If he cursed when he told Miriam, he cursed her. He told the serpent, he cursed her. He didn't say that to Eve. But right here, he's making a point. He said, "What hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood cried unto thee from the ground. And now thou art cursed." So we know what it means. Turn white. Right? Took the melanin out of him. "Cursed from the earth, which have opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand. When thou tillest the ground," he'll till of the ground. "When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength." What's her strength? Melanin. "A fugitive and a vagabond shall thou be in the earth." And Cain said unto the Lord, my punishment is greater than I can bear." What are you talking about? He did the same thing what he did to Miriam. He said, "I can't handle this. You done turn me white. I can't, I'm dope." So we see that 6 days, because of the Sabbath is for mankind. So 6 days she was set out to camp, kept the Shabbat, and then after that he returned the skin back to her. But Cain, he never returned it back to Cain. You see that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anybody got any questions, comments?
So is that punishment on man and woman today, or was that punishment just for Adam and Eve?
That was for Adam and Eve, and then it reverberated down through the ages, and then when we get to Israel as a nation, because of Adam was the first man, but the destiny was a nation, which is what Jacob came in at. So Jacob is one of Adam's descendants. Then he had 12 sons, and he made that made the nation of Israel. That's when they received the same laws that Adam received. They received them again at Mount Sinai, and then they didn't keep them. So he cast them out. So now everything. So what happened with Adam and Eve is time 1,000, because we're not under that umbrella. We're not under the Lord of hosts. Like he said, heaven above is like iron, and the earth beneath us is like brass. We don't have that covering of law no more. Okay. That's why we're in the state that we're in today. But we see that he's returning, and that's being removed. Like I was saying, for forever and a day, you had Nigeria at the Congo throat. When you understand who these people are, the Israelites, they've been at each other's throat. Nigeria is Ephraim. They've been at the Congo throat. Now all of a sudden, I showed you the other day, Nigeria and the Congo coming together.
Right.
Because the prophecy is up. What he has spoken is up, and he got other prophecies that coming to pass. Like, for example, Isaiah 60. He says, "Rise and shine, for thy time has come, and the Lord is risen over thee. Then you're gonna flow together." That's what we're looking at.
Okay.
Right.
Shalom. I was looking through Daniel's and reading Daniel, and my not really a question. I want to say an opinion, or if you can make it a fact. So Nebuchadnezzar, when he was king, when he wanted to know about the interpretations of his dreams, then he wanted to kill all the musicians, sorcerers, and all of those that before Daniel that could help him with the dream. Once he wanted to kill all them, and he made that big golden statue, and said that when everyone hears the psaltery of the harp and all of the musicians, that they should bow. And when they didn't, because Nebuchadnezzar changed the names of the Hebrew boys into the names he wanted them to be, Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego. And then when he looked in the furnace and saw that there were 4 and not 3 that he had put in, he then ordered that no one goes against Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego's God. He also said that no one goes against Daniel's God, but he continuously went against God, wanting the dreams and trying to, make himself still a king God, a small g God. My question about that is, I know that the Lord of hosts, as you have, shown us and taught us, that he'll use those people to do the certain things that he wants. And I saw how he uses the 7, and he cast him out for 7 years, and he came back, and then he punished him like you said. But what is it in that that Esau spirit was just going back and forth and back and forth, because he had told the people that if they didn't do it, that he would kill them. you know, for that guard that he had put up. But then when Meshach and Shadrach and Abednego went in and was not burnt or harmed or anything, he told all the people that they can't, you know, offend his God, the Meshach, Abednego, and Shadrach's God. So just wanting to know how that he went back and forth like that. You know, he knew it was a God because when he called Daniel and Daniel could interpret, tell him the dream, he wanted to know how, I guess, how great these persons were, because you had to tell him what he dreamed and then tell him the interpretation of the dream. And when his people couldn't do it and Daniel could do it, he knew that Daniel had a God because that is what he dreamed, but he couldn't get the interpretation.
Right.
So I'm not really asking a question, I guess. I'm just really saying how did that work out?
Well, so you got to go back to when we first started talking. It says that Nebuchadnezzar had a whole group of people around him, sorcerers and musicians and all that, right? Soothsayers.
Yes.
Okay, where they get that knowledge? From the fallen angels.
They get the knowledge, those sorcerers and
from the fallen angels. Fallen angels.
The fallen angels, yes.
Yeah, go back to Enoch, and it tells you that those are all the things they gave them. He gave them, showed them how to do rooms and do spells and all that. So that's what those people are dealing with, the knowledge that the fallen angels had given them. And so when they saw Daniel, when they saw Joseph, that's the first thing they said. We see the spirit of the gods on you. It was a different spirit on the Hebrews. And so the whole reason why he brought Joseph there was to show the people that the God that y'all dealing with and the knowledge y'all dealing with ain't the right knowledge. So the first thing that Daniel told him was, cannot these people that you got around you interpret your dream? That was to humiliate them. And then he told him no. And then Daniel told him to give some time. Let me go talk to my God and I'll come back. So he came back, told him, right? And so you have to look at the situation that was in hand. It goes more into detail in the book of Joshua. So they got this big old arena, and they got this big old furnace there that they put them in, so everybody is there, like at a football game or a basketball game. They all standing there. They able to look down in the furnace, and so they knew that they had put Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the furnace, right? But then Nebuchadnezzar, he said, he got a first-hand view. So he looking, it's another person in there. He know he had only put 3 in there. So he looking at the Lord host, this being that Daniel been telling him about. So he looking at him, and he see that he's called Daniel not to be burned up.
Yes, sir.
And then he asked Daniel, he told Daniel to come out of there. And then when Daniel came out, that's why he's going back and forth. Because he see that the God that Daniel they dealing with and the God that Daniel dealing with, two totally different. Ain't the same.
Yes, sir.
So he was blown away. And we see the same thing happen with the Pharaoh. Because remember when he first got there, he said, we don't you tell us your God told you to let us go. But we don't know your God. He's not in our pantheon. But after he came with those pigs, he saw the God that the Israelites dealing with, and they God totally different.
Yes, sir.
So that's what the wishy-washy is all about.
Yes, sir. So Nebuchadnezzar was so puffed up, like Samuel in the garden, if we go all the way back, to force the hand of the Lord of the hosts. So he kept forcing his hand every time. Right. Yes, sir. Exactly. Thank you so much.
And they forced him to prove himself.
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay. Yeah. That's what that is. They one way. Over time, the Most High, the Lord of Hosts breaks them down, get their mind right. Yeah. Anybody else got anything?
One need to know, sir. I'm sorry. Did you all hear about TikTok? Um, by Trump is going to get it with one of these billionaires to try and buy TikTok from China, but China will only sell without the algorithm. Um, so they were saying that they have these hackers over there that's been hacking the phones, and so they hack through TikTok and getting information and stuff through the TikTok. So we should see once he gets in there if he's going to try and get TikTok from China.
Right. Exactly. And that's a dead giveaway in itself. Why you the president of the United States? Why is you worried about trying to control TikTok? That's crazy.
Right.
Exactly.
That's why I was saying he think that all of this going on is just entertainment. You know, he already has a platform. I think it's called Truth Social or something like that. So
Right,
he already has a platform. But again, he just thinks that this is entertainment for him. It's all a game.
Right. And like I said before, when you understand that and you go back, Nebuchadnezzar don't know. He don't know the God of Israel, and they ain't know the God of Israel. So they can't reason and make decisions based off that. If you don't know who he is and you don't know how to, how to deal with him, you don't know how to deal with him. So he making decisions based off of the knowledge and the understanding that they didn't got. And that's their downfall, because they don't know the God of Israel. Like the Syrian guy that came with the 185,000 soldiers to the gates of Jerusalem. If he knew that the God of Israel can be somewhere and you can't see him, he would have said everything he said. But because he don't know that, he being played, because you don't know the God of Israel. And he hear everything you say. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
You
sir.
denigrating him, but he's standing right there. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. You're absolutely right, sir. And again, like we both mentioned, yeah, he tried to go back and forth with the Lord of Hosts because he saw all the miracles. He firsthand got everything that Daniel told him came true. So even if he didn't want to, have faith in that God, he knew that Daniel's God and Shadrach and Abednego's God was a powerful God that could do things, like you say, without even being there physically to do it.
Right. And that's the thing I'm saying, that when you get to a certain point, and you have the need to share what you've learned to other people, and you're thinking that it's gonna go smooth. It ain't gonna go smooth, because they ain't gonna hear it, because look what the Pharaoh did. When he started showing, when the Most High revealed himself to him, you got a choice. He didn't reveal himself to you. You know that he exists, but you want to keep acting as if he don't exist. So what the scriptures say, he gonna recompense that on your head. So when you come to somebody and you share some truth to them, and then they get it, and then they want to go on as if they didn't never had that encounter, it's how hell gonna break loose. You come out better, never even coming in contact with that person. Because once they give you that information and you get it, then it's over with. Oh yeah. You ain't playing. Anybody else got anything? Okay. I said I was gonna read out of I think this kind of I think 10 years ago I saw this, but I never really had dealt with it till it came across my mind again last night. So I'm in I got a question. Anybody know who Josiah is? You heard of Josiah?
Wasn't he the young king at 7 years old? He took the throne or something.
Yeah, sort of, kind of. So well, I was saying this about what people don't understand about these end times is that the Creator said that he made a covenant with David, and he said that he's gonna always have a seed out of David's lineage that's gonna be on his throne, right? And so people, they hear that, they get the revelation on that, but they don't really understand the significance of it. So what he actually saying is, David, when you understand what happened with David, how David had a rocky start at first, but David would always submit himself. He didn't never try to fight against the Most High. When Nathan came and told him that he had stole Bathsheba and he had killed Uriah, he submitted. He fell on the floor and he repented. That was the difference in him and all the other kings. So he told David, you're going to die. In 2 Samuel, you're going to die and go to your fathers, and I'm always have a seat on the throne out of your lineage. And when Israel started going astray, I'm going to raise up one like you. So you say, what are you talking about? First, Second Chronicles, and First and Second Kings, you can see that the scripture always tell you what that king did. He was wicked, and he did that which was evil. Then all of a sudden, it'll be a king, and he said he did that which was right. That's the promise he got to David. It's gonna be a bunch of wicked ones come on the throne, but to bring them back to me, I'm gonna raise up one. So he got David's DNA on a yo-yo string. So after so long, he'll raise up one like the David, and he'll come and he'll restore Israel back to the times of David. He'll get rid of all the Baal worship, cleanse everything up, bring back the law, and bring it back. So you see, Hezekiah was one. Then Jehoshaphat was one. And then the very last one before Nebuchadnezzar came was Josiah. He came back. He reinstituted the solemn feast, all that stuff, and the Passover. They had stopped doing. It's hard to believe, but they had stopped doing the Passover and all that. And Josiah came and reinstituted all that and brought all of it back. He was the last righteous king on the throne, and that's what Jeremiah was prophesying. After Josiah died, that's when Nebuchadnezzar came, and he got burned down. So that's what brings us to our topic right here. I want to start in let me get chapter 23, 2 Kings. Chapter 23 says, look at it. And it's also tied to Daniel 9:25. Like I said, Daniel 9:25 not talking about Jesus. It's talking about Zerubbabel. And Zerubbabel is tied to Josiah. So I'm going to start reading in 28. So Josiah, he was told by, Josiah was dealing with Isaiah. So Josiah was told by Isaiah, don't go dealing with the king of Egypt, because he had started pursuing territory, and his pursuit was bringing him toward Egypt, toward the land of Israel. So Josiah went out to fight against him, but he had been told by the prophet, don't go out and fight against him. So we're going to pick it up right here in 2 Kings 23 and 28. Now, the rest of the acts of Josiah and all that he did, are they not written in the books of the Chronicles of the Kings of Judah? In his days, Pharaoh Necho, this is the king of Egypt, went up against the king of Assyria to the river Euphrates. So, see, like I said before, Isaiah had told him, that ain't got nothing to do with you. See what it says? In his days, Pharaoh Necho, king of Egypt, went up against king of Assyria. He ain't trying to deal with Israel. But Josiah got involved in it against the words of the prophet. So it says, Assyria to the river Euphrates, and King Josiah went out against him. See that? Ain't got nothing to do with him. Now check this out. And he slew him at Megiddo, right? That's going to take you to Isaiah. I mean, it's going to take you to Zechariah chapter 14 I showed you the other day. So because of all the things he did and reinstituted all the stuff in Israel, they loved him. So it was a great mourning in Israel. So when the Most High raised David back up in the last days, he said it's going to be like the days when Josiah died. But anyway, let's keep going. It says, in the days of Pharaoh Necho, king of Egypt, went up against king of Assyria to the river Euphrates, and King Josiah went up against him, and he slew him at the Megiddo when he had seen him. And his servants carried him into a chariot dead from Megiddo, and brought him to Jerusalem and buried him in his own sepulchre. And the people of the land took Jehoiakim. Check it out. So Josiah dead, right? And the people of the land took Jehoiakim, the son of Josiah, and anointed him, made him king in his father's stead, right? So remember, the prophecies of Jeremiah is looming over them. Jeremiah already told them, y'all whacked out in the Nebuchadnezzar coming, right? So now here we go, 31. And Jehoiakim was 20 and 3 years old when he began to reign. And he reigned 3 months. See that? 3 months in Jerusalem. And his mother name was Hamathal, the daughter of Jeremiah Libnah. This is what I was telling you about. So remember that. This woman name right here, Hamathal, the daughter of Jeremiah Libnah. Remember that. This is who this boy, Jehoiakim's mother is, right? So, okay. 32. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, according to all, see that I told you about that. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, according to all that his fathers had done. And Pharaoh Necho put him in bands at Riblah in the land of Hamath, that he might not reign in Jerusalem. See that? That he might not reign in Jerusalem. So that's a breach. Like I told you, that's a breach in Israel. And he put the land to tribute of 100 talents of silver and a talent of gold. And Pharaoh Necho made Elohim. See that? Check it out. So remember, Yahweh, the Lord of hosts, is the one choosing the seed that's going to rule in Israel. He revealed it to the Father which one he's going to rule. But it says right here, the Pharaoh. See that? The Pharaoh made Elohim. See that? That's not how it goes. The Pharaoh made Elohim, the son of Joshua, Josiah, king, in the room of says in the room of Josiah's father, and turned his name to Jehoiakim. So he changed his name to Jehoiakim, and he took Jehoiakim, right, the firstborn, away, and he came to Egypt, and he died there. So the firstborn was taken to Egypt, he died. He's over with. Remember what I told you about the seed royal, okay? So now, 35, Jehoiakim gave the silver and the gold. Look what he's doing. Jehoiakim gave the silver and the gold to Pharaoh. See that? He threw Yahweh, the Lord, away. Jehoiakim gave the silver and the gold to the Pharaoh, but he taxed the land to give the money according to the commandments of Pharaoh, not the commandments of Yahweh that Moses gave him. He taxing the people to get money according to the commandments of the Pharaoh. He exalted the silver and the gold of the people of the land. He exacted the silver and the gold of the people of the land, of every one according to his taxation, and gave it unto the Pharaoh. See that? Now here you go, 36. Jehoiakim was 20 and 5 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 11 years in Jerusalem, and his mother name was Zebat, the daughter of Peter of Rumah. And he did that, here you go again, he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, according to all that his fathers had done. So notice, there's two of them back to back. They did that which is evil. Now here we go, chapter 24. In his days, Nebuchadnezzar, now what Jeremiah prophesied started to come to pass. In his days, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came up, and Jehoiakim became his servant. 3 years, and he turned and rebelled against him. So now let's look at that. Remember what the Most High, the Lord of hosts, had told him. Jeremiah told him, you go into Babylon for 70 years. Serve Nebuchadnezzar. Serve his son and his grandson. And then you're going to come back here. So look what he do. It says, chapter 24, verse 1. In the days of Nebuchadnezzar, they already got commandments. They already know who Nebuchadnezzar is. Jeremiah told them. In his days, Nebuchadnezzar King of Babylon came up, and Jehoiakim became his servant. 3 years. Then he turned and rebelled against him. So he rebelled against the Most High. Most High told him, serve Nebuchadnezzar. I'm using Nebuchadnezzar, and I'm using his son and his grandson. Then I'm gonna judge them. But right now you got to serve Nebuchadnezzar, his son and his grandson. So anyway, verse 2, and the Lord sent against him, see that? Because he went against his word. The Lord sent against him bands of Chaldeans and bands of Syrians, bands of Midianites. I just told you about that. You know, when the truth comes, the Most High come and reveal himself to you, and you act like he didn't do that, this is what happens. So he says, and the Lord sent against him bands of Chaldeans, bands of Syrians, bands of Moabites, bands of children of Ammon, and he sent them against Judah to destroy it, because the word of the Lord which he had spake by his servants, the prophets. So you say, what are you talking about? Let me give you an example. He said that when from time Abraham was circumcised, every male child in Israel got to be circumcised. Moses had circumcised his son, his firstborn. So the same angel right here, the Lord of hosts, came to kill Moses. This is how serious it is. He came to kill Moses, and Zipporah, his wife, circumcised the boy to keep Moses from being killed. So if you think it's a game, that's what I'm talking about. So anyway, verse 3, surely at the commandments of the Lord came this upon Judah to remove them out of his sight for the sins of Manasseh according to all he did, right? Then it says, and also for the innocent blood that he shed, for he filled Jerusalem with innocent blood, which the Lord would not pardon. So what is innocent blood? He sacrificed a young kid up in the high places. That's what the innocent blood he's talking about. 5. Now, the rest of the acts of Jehoiakim and all that he did, are they not written in the books of the Chronicles of the kings of Judah? So Jehoiakim slept with his fathers, and Jehoiakim, here goes Jehoiakim, right? Jehoiakim, his son, reigned in his stead. Now here you go. And the kings of Egypt came not again anymore out of his land, for the king of Babylon had taken from the river Euphrates until the river Euphrates all that pertaining to the king of Egypt. So remember, the king of Egypt, the one killed Josiah. And then from there, he started taxing Egypt. But now Nebuchadnezzar coming, like Jeremiah said. And Nebuchadnezzar ran the Egyptians off. So now they subject to Nebuchadnezzar. So here you go. Verse 8. Jehoiakim was 18 years old when he began to reign. And he reigned in Jerusalem 3 months. Now here you go, what I was telling you about. And his mother name was Nehatah, the daughter of Elathan of Jerusalem. And he did that which was evil. There go another one. In the sight of the Lord, according to all that his father had done. And at that time, the servants of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came up against Jerusalem, and the city was besieged. Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came against the city, and his servants did besiege it. Now here you go, right here. This is going to take you to Daniel 9:25. I'm showing you that it ain't JC. I'm killing a bunch of birds with one stone. So it says, and Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came against the city, and his servants did besiege it. And Jehoiakim, see that? Jehoiakim, the king of Judah, went out to the king of Babylon. Now check it out. He and his mother and his servants and his princes and his officers, and the king of Babylon took him in the 8th year of his reign. So you say, what you talking about? This is where the 70 years started at. This is the seed out of David lineage. This is the count. The 70 years started counting right here with this boy. So you say, what are you talking about? Because he got his mama, all his children, and he's got all his servants with him in order to preserve David lineage. Just like we saw with Adler. Adler tried to kill all the seed royal, but the Most High had a sister steal one of the boys and hid him because he got a covenant with David. He gonna always have a seed reserved. So right here, I'm gonna read it again. 2 Kings 24:12, right? It says, and Jehoiakim, the king, right? This David's lineage of Judah went out to the king of Babylon, he, look at this, and his mother, and his servants, and his princes, this is seed royal right here, his princes, and his officers, and the king of Babylon took him in the 8th year of his reign. So he got everything he needs to keep David lineage going. 13, and he carried out thence all the treasures of the house of the Lord, and the treasures of the king's house, and he cut in pieces the vessels of gold which Solomon, king of Israel, had made in the temple of the Lord, and the Lord had said, and he carried away all Jerusalem. Check it out. All Jerusalem and all the princes and all the mighty men of valor, even 10,000 captives, and all the, this the prophecy starting right here. This is the first year. All the mighty men of valor, even 10,000 captives, all the craftsmen, the smiths, none remain. Say the poor, save the poorest sort of the people of the land. And he carried away Jehoiakim. See that? He carried away Jehoiakim to Babylon, and the king's mother, the king's wives. See that? And his officers and the mighty of the land, those carried he into captivity from Jerusalem to Babylon. So he got everything he needed to make this prophecy fulfilled, like I told you. And all the men of might, even 7,000, the craftsmen, the smiths, 1,000, all that were strong and apt for war, even them the king of Babylon brought captive to Babylon. And the king of Babylon, check it out, this is where the drama coming in at. This is a breach right here. And the king of Babylon, not the Lord of hosts, the king of Babylon made Matthias, see that? His father's brother, king in his stead. So he took the lineage that the Lord of hosts dealing with. He took him to Babylon with all his wives and kids, and he put Matthias. That's a breach. That's a breach in the covenant with the Most High God with David. So he put Matthias, Jehoiakim's father's brother, that's his uncle, right? King in his stead, and changed his name. See that? He's trying to act like the Lord of hosts. He changed his name to Zedekiah. So what's going on? So this guy right here, Matthias, he already been passed over because he's Josiah's brother. So out of that seed royal right there, he's already picked Josiah. So Matthias been passed over. But Nebuchadnezzar come and make Matthias. He backtracked. He make Matthias the king. That's a breach. Keep that in mind. Now let's keep going. Verse 18. And then he changed his name to Zedekiah. So this is why Zedekiah is so wicked, right? So it says Zedekiah was 21 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 11 years in Jerusalem. And his check it out. And his mother name, here go the same woman. See that? Remember this Josiah mama. Him and Josiah got the same mama. See that? His mother name was Hamathal, the daughter of Jeremiah 11, what I just read. That's Josiah mama. They got the same mother. See that? Anyway, and he did that which was evil. You should have known he's going to be evil. So he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, according to all that Jehoiakim had done. For through the anger of the Lord, it came to pass in Jerusalem and Judah until he cast them out from his presence, that Zedekiah rebelled against the king of Babylon. See that? He rebelled against the king of Babylon, against the Lord of hosts. Jeremiah had already prophesied all this. Now here we go. I'm in chapter 25. And it came to pass in the 9th year of his reign, in the 9th month, in the 10th day of the month, that Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came, he and all his hosts, against Jerusalem, pitched against it, and they built forts against it round about. And the city was besieged until the 11th year of King Zedekiah. And on the 9th day of the 4th month, the famine prevailed in the city, and there was no bread for the people of the land. Remember what Jeremiah told them? You're going to eat your own children, right? And the city was broken up, and all the men of war fled by night by the way of the gate between the two walls, which is by the king's garden. Now the Chaldeans were against the city round about, and the king went the way toward the plains. And the army of the Chaldeans pursued after the king, overtook him in the plains of Jericho, and all his army was scattered from him. So remember, this is the king of Judah, but the Lord of hosts didn't appoint him. He appointed Jehoiakim. right? It says, and the army of the Chaldeans pursued after the king, overtook him in the plains of Jericho, and his army was scattered from him. So they took the king, look at this, they took the king, brought him up to the king of Babylon at Riblah, and they gave judgment upon him. And they slew, look at this, they slew the sons of Zedekiah, that's a seed royal from Zedekiah, before his eyes, and put out Zedekiah's eyes, and bound him with feathers of brass, and carried him to Babylon. And in the 5th month, on the 7th day of the month, which is 19th year of King Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came Nebuzaradan, right, captain of the guard, a servant of the king of Babylon, unto Jerusalem. So I want to give you this little golden nugget. We was talking earlier about how the kings be going, how these kings going wishy-washy, going back and forth. Well, notice you got Nebuchadnezzar, right? That Czar in his name, that's their God. So he got his God name in his name. Nebuchadnezzar. Then you got Nebuchadnezzar got a Lord of hosts, strong man over Chaldeans. His name Nebuzaradan. So he got their God name in his name. You got to understand that in order to understand what's going on, right? So anyway, so he says, in all the army of the Chaldeans that were with the captain of the guard, this captain of the host, just like Michael is in heaven, break down the walls of Jerusalem round about. Now the rest of the people that were left in the city and the fugitives that fell away to the king of Babylon was the remnant of the multitude that Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, carried away. But the captain of the guard left the poor of the land to the vine dressers and the husbandmen, and the pillows of brass that were in the house of the Lord, the bases, the brazen sea that was in the house of the Lord, did the Chaldeans break in pieces and carry the brass of them to Babylon. Jeremiah told them all this. He prophesied all this. And the pots, the shovels, the snuffers, the spoons, all the vessels of brass wherewith they ministered, took they away, and the fire pans and the bowls and such things that were gold, in gold, and of silver in silver, the captain of the guard took away. The 2 pillars, 1 seat, the bases which Solomon had made for the house of the Lord, the brass of all these vessels was without weight. The height of 1 pillar was 18 cubits, and the calipers upon which was brass, the height of the calipers 3 cubits, and wherewith the works, the pomegranates upon the calipers, all about all of brass, likened unto these had the 2nd pillar with breathing work. Anyway, so he's telling you all the stuff that they took. I'm gonna pick it up in 22. And as for the people that remained in the land of Judah, right? Remember what Jeremiah said? It's 2 baskets of figs, right? So it says, and then he told them the wicked fig was going to end up going to Egypt, right? So let's look at it. And as for the people that remained in the land of Judah, which Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, had left, even see the righteous seed was taken out, right? He says had left, even over them he made Gedaliah, the son of Jehoiakim, right? The son of Stephan, ruler. And when all the captains of the armies, they and their men heard that the king of Babylon had made Gedaliah governor, there came to Gedaliah Mizpah, even Ishmael, the son of Neathan, and Jonathan, the son of Korah, and Sirah, the son of, I'm butchering his name, Tanah, the Neophite, and Jezaniah, the son of Middekah. They had their men, and Gedaliah swore to them and to their men and said unto them, fear not to be the servants of the Chaldeans, dwell in the land and serve the king of Babylon, and it shall be well with thee, right? So he's trying to do the right thing. That's what the Lord always told him. served the king of Babylon, his son and his grandson. Then I'm gonna come get you. But here we go. Back to the seed royal I told you about. 25. But it came to pass in the 7th month that Ishmael, the son of Neathan, the son of Elazar, of the seed royal, see that? Of the seed royal, came, and 10 men with him, and they smote Gedaliah, that he died, and the Jews and the Chaldeans that were with him in Mizpah, and all the people, both small and great, and the captains of the armies arose and came to Egypt. See that? That's what Jeremiah told him. The wicked seed is going to go to Egypt. We're going to kill him now. So he said, all the people, both small and great, the captains of the armies arose, came to Egypt, and they were all afraid of the Chaldeans. Now here we go. Remember Jehoiakim. Jehoiakim was taken to Babylon with his wives, with his mother, all of them, right? He ain't dead, but he kills Zedekiah. It's the Lord of hosts doing all this. 27, and it came to pass in the 7th year. So this the account for the 70 years. It came to pass in the 7th and 37th year of the captivity of Jehoiakim. So you're on 37 years, going towards 70. Jehoiakim is the count. He the plumb line. So it says, and it came to pass in the 7th and 37th year of the captivity of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, in the 20th month. In the 12th month, on the 7th and 20th day of the month, that evil Murdoch, king of Babylon, in the year that he began to reign. This is the son of Nebuchadnezzar, right? Did lift up the head of Jehoiakim. See that? King of Judah out of prison. Now watch this. Remember, he got his mama, all his wives, and all his sons with him, because he got to fulfill the prophecy in Daniel 9:25. Zerubbabel, right? So it says, and he spoke kindly to him. So evil Murdoch spoke kindly to him and set his throne, see that? David's throne, above the thrones of the kings that were in Babylon. Now check it out. 29. Changed his prison garments, and he did eat bread continuously before the king all the days of his life. So now he got his own little place to live, a villa, all that, with his wives and children and all that. Living the life. He didn't raise him up. Lord host calls the king, the son of Nebuchadnezzar, to raise him up, prop him up, right? So 30, and his allowance. See, look at this. And his allowance was a continual allowance given to him of the king, a daily rate for every day, all the days of his life. See that? So now let me go somewhere right quick before I keep reading. I'm almost at the end. So now let's go to, like I said, they got these books all twisted up. So you won't be able to understand this. But let's go to Haggai. After all I read. So now the 70 years is up. So here we go. Chapter 2, verse 1. And Haggai. So Haggai was in Babylon too, when they came out of Babylon. So it says, Haggai chapter 2. In the 7th month, in the 21st day of the month, came the word of the Lord. See that the 70 years is up. Came the word of the Lord by the prophet Haggai, saying, speak to Zerubbabel. So who the hell is Zerubbabel? This is the son right here, the grandson of Jehoiakim. The 70 years is up. Like I said, he took Jehoiakim, his mama, all his wives, all his sons, and all his servants with him to preserve that seed, which is Zerubbabel. So that's why in Haggai, when the 70 years is up, he told him, he told Haggai, go to Zerubbabel, I know where he at, and tell him it's time. Okay, anyway, let's go back over here. I mean, 2 Kings, chapter 25, verse 30. So yeah, that was it. So anyway, it says in verse 30, and his allowance was continuously allowance given him of a king, a daily rate every day, all the days of his life. And so my thing is this: you can't see all this, and you trying to deal with JC. You ain't gonna see none of this. Okay, but like I said, as soon as you figure out who JC is and you get rid of him, then the scriptures start opening up like a flower. But you're not gonna see none of that. As long as you see that you trying to deal with JC because you think he the Messiah, but he don't have nothing to do with Israel. So Jehoiakim, which is the son of Josiah, was the promised seed that the Most High saved, and when he sent him to Babylon, and then from Jehoiakim we get Zerubbabel. Daniel 9:25, what Daniel prophesied. Any questions or comments before we go?
Just one, sir. Jeremiah told that king, don't try to escape, just voluntarily go, and he did it, and that's when he killed his son and blinded him.
Right, killed all his sons.
Right.
Because he wasn't. We read yesterday. Remember how that when David was getting ready to, was old and getting ready to die, the Lord had told him Solomon was going to reign after him, right?
Yes, sir.
But that other boy tried to go down and he started slaughtering animals, and then he proclaimed himself the king.
Right.
And you see what happened to him. It's the same thing right here. Nebuchadnezzar made Zedekiah the king, he, not the Lord of hosts. So when the time came, he killed Zedekiah and all his seed. Because he already following Jehoiakim seed line. Jehoiakim is already in Babylon. They're gonna be there for 70 years. Then he's gonna out of Jehoiakim's seed line, he's gonna bring Zerubbabel back to rebuild the temple. And that's what Jeremiah told him. So when you understand who the Lord of hosts is, he's the one doing all this. He's like he said, I spoke it, then I'm gonna be the one to perform it. So he's behind the scene making sure all this stuff happens. Okay. Anybody else got any questions? Everybody good?
Yes, sir. I'm good.
Okay, yeah. So like I was saying before, and what brought this conversation on was you got two Jehoiakims. You see where when Josiah died, then his firstborn son Jehoiachin came on the throne. He only was on there 3 months. Then they took him to Egypt and killed him. Then Jehoiakim came on the throne. Well, it's two Jehoiakims. You got a Jehoiakim out of Aaron's lineage. We'll deal with that on Tuesday night. But you got a Jehoiakim that's the high priest, and they existing around the same time. And the only reason I picked that out was because I saw that it was the Jehoiakim in Josiah's lineage. But then I seen that it was a Jehoiakim in Aaron's lineage. And they pretty much existed around the same time. But I'm gonna put that together and show it to you on Tuesday. Try to do this thing back to back.
Shalom. Yes,
Okay.
it shows that when you were reading, I noticed that it was spelled at the end K-I-M, and then
Yeah,
it was
right.
spelled different C-H-I-N at the
Right.
end of that. So I noticed that when he switched his name from when he said he made I cannot pronounce that one, but it's spelled
Mm-hmm.
Eliakim. He
Right.
changed his name to Jehoiakim. So by him doing that, it shows that it still had the Kim on the end of it.
Right. And we thinking that we look over that.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like when the lineages. It's a lot going on with those lineages, but we get to it in so many names that's being mentioned, and then you can't pronounce most of them. You just bypass that. But it's something going on with those lineages.
Shalom,
You have
yes,
to
sir.
right.
Trick you to thinking that it's still, that is that one is coming from Aaron's lineage, but it's not. It's someone
Right.
else's lineage.
Exactly. It's a switching happen. Exactly. Okay. Everybody good?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna say shalom, everybody. I'll see y'all Tuesday.
Shalom,
Shalom.
everyone.